So I'd like to take a moment to talk a little bit about loneliness. Why is loneliness so painful? Why is it so hard? What loneliness is actually about is everywhere that you're not willing to be present with your own heart. So energetically, loneliness is actually a resistance to being present with yourself on a deep level. So it's actually just an energetic experience. The feeling of it is loneliness, and you're identifying with the idea of it. And that's why it feels so powerful. It's because you believe that you are lonely, that you believe that it's actually a part of your identity, that you're experiencing this thing called lonely, and you're in resistance to it because it's trapped inside of you. And energetically, when something is trapped inside of you, it actually feels painful or challenging. The problem is it gets stuck inside of you when you have a resistance to the experience. So with something like lonely, we've probably been brought up learning that feeling lonely is not a good thing. So why might you have had a resistance to loneliness? I imagine that growing up, if you were left alone, it probably pressed on the wound that was already there, that you weren't lovable, right? So you might have experienced a little bit of love in your life, but if there were parts of you that were experiencing a lack of love or an unlovableness or a conditional love, then a loneliness might have exacerbated that. Another thing that might be going wrong is if you make loneliness into a wrongness, right? So if there's a part of you that believes that being lonely is a bad or wrong experience, then you're going to actually have an experience of that loneliness as meaning something bad and wrong. Automatically, you're going to be in resistance of loneliness, of that entire experience. And automatically, as that loneliness comes in, you're going to push it away. You're going to be avoiding it. And since you've probably been doing this for years and years and years and years, that process is already so solidified in you. You're so attuned to the experience of resisting and rejecting loneliness that anytime it shows up, you're going to be like, no, I don't want to experience this. Keep it away from me. Loneliness is bad. I don't want to be lonely. And because you have that resistance to loneliness, loneliness is going to come in. You're going to have that experience. And when loneliness comes, do you go, oh, I feel lonely. I'm going to feel this. There's nothing wrong with this experience. I love this experience. No, that's not what you do, right? Instead you go, I'm going to scroll through Instagram all day and eat all these snacks and smoke some weed and busy myself in all these different ways that I don't have to feel lonely, right? If I text all my friends, or if I get a bunch of likes on my post, or if I don't know, talk on the phone all day with my friends, or whatever your coping mechanism might be, you're using it to stop yourself from having this experience of loneliness. Loneliness is a little bit different from solitude or solipsism, right? It's actually an experience of being a human being that has a separate mind, a separate experience, that isn't being able or choosing or allowed to connect with other people, right? And it is that lack of connection that is at the heart of loneliness. But what's actually going on with loneliness is the true way of healing loneliness is not in surrounding yourself with people. It's not in getting a lot of FaceTime or even connecting on a deep level with another person. It's actually about connection with yourself and the willingness to have an experience that you're in resistance to, and that's it. So when you're fully willing to have loneliness, to be lonely, to go all the way through this experience, and you're willing yourself to open your body, breathe into it, experience, breathe, open, be present with loneliness, that's going to shift it completely. And when you're willing to get in touch with yourself, love yourself, that erases loneliness. But see, it's not about the erasure of loneliness. It's about the acceptance of an experience, the acknowledgement of an experience, and then just the full-on, all-in willingness to be there for that experience. So try it with me. Do you have some loneliness coming up right now? Go ahead, take a deep breath. Relax your body. Exhale. On your next in-breath, just allow yourself to fall back into that loneliness. Allow it to come up. You can fall back into it. You can allow it to come up. And breathe while gently relaxing your body. Breathing into the sensation. Allowing it to be there. Allowing it to be there so completely. You are full on willing to be lonely. And it doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't mean that you're wrong for being lonely. It doesn't mean that you're right for being lonely. In fact, you aren't lonely. You're having an experience of loneliness, which actually isn't your feeling. It's just a feeling that's strayed into your path that you identified with. So instead of identifying with it now, all that you're doing is you're welcoming it in to your experience. You're welcoming its energetic body to hang out with your energetic body. In full acknowledgement of the divinity that is in both of you. The divinity of loneliness, and the divinity of you. And as you breathe in, as you relax your body, as you allow it to be there, as you stay present with it, acknowledge it, allow it to be there, but know that it's not yours. Also know that it can stay there as long as it wants, and it can leave at any time. So basically what that means is what you want to do as you stay present with it is you want almost for it to know that it's allowed to stay as long as it wants. And it's allowed to leave at any time. So what that feels like is breathe, relax, open, and welcome. Welcome that energy. Just welcome. Hello, loneliness. Welcome. Welcome here. Hello, cute, beautiful loneliness. Just gonna keep breathing into you, breathing into my body, opening into you, relaxing into you, and allowing you to be here. In full knowing that you are not a problem and that you don't mean anything about me. You don't mean anything about my past. You don't mean anything about my future. You simply are. And how is that feeling? Does it feel like you were ever lonely? Or was there just an energy passing through? On a consciousness level, everything that you are and everything around you is infinite. Infinitely expanding, infinitely changing, infinitely becoming. Infinite, infinitely connected, and also infinitely part of the same source of being. You can call it a God, you can call it source, you can call it universe, you can call it you. It is all the same thing. And that's all that you are. So from this understanding that you are everything, that you are me, that you are everyone around you, that you are your dog, that you are your plants, that you are the sky, that you are the solar system, from this understanding, Have you ever been lonely? Can you ever be lonely?